Studies have been done to determine what are the leading accident causes. Some of these are drug and alcohol use, inattention by either the vehicle operator or the train operator, misjudgment. It's very hard sometimes to judge the speed of the train and how far it's away from you, violating the traffic rules, unable to stop appropriately, disregarding a signal, as you can see in the upper picture there with somebody going around the gate, unaware of a train. I had that experience, as I mentioned before, weather conditions, and sometimes, unfortunately, the warning system at the crossing is not functioning correctly. Here's a breakdown of the last 7 years, and you can see that in 2004 there were approximately 3,000 accidents, and in 2010, the last fully recorded year, we don't have full figures in for 2011, you can see that it's been declined about 30%. But the amount of deaths is still unacceptable at 256, and serious injuries at 850. This 1,000, almost 1,100, is still unacceptable. At public crossings, we have various types of controls. We have gates, flashing lights, other active signals, crosswalk signs, stop line signs, and other passive devices. And this gives you the breakdown of how they're used at the 130,000 public crossings. Let's take a look at pedestrian incidents. Between 2008 and 2011, there were approximately 500, and in 2010, from January to November, right now the accidents are only reported through November. You can see that there's been somewhat of a decline in 2011, but in general, statistically, between 2008 and 2011, there has been not much of an improvement in terms of pedestrian injuries at crossings. This is a breakdown, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is by the different types of vehicles and how they contribute to the amount of injuries and accidents that occur at highway crossings. You can see that auto is number one and bus is the last of the principal modes of transportation. If we're looking at the top 10 states in terms of accidents, Texas leads the way, and number 10 is Kentucky, and where I am right now in Florida is number 9. But every day I pick up the paper and there's an accident, and sometimes I get a feeling that maybe Florida is moving up in the pecking order. Pedestrian behavior is very important. The pedestrians tend to, when they cross, they tend to look down and not looking to the right and to the left. They're worried about tripping on the track, and by them looking down, they're not developing a keen awareness and maybe being distracted from paying attention to a train that's coming to their crossing. As I pointed out, I was out there taking pictures, and the train just creeped up on me. The other day I was on a rail platform, and I was talking to a person who was injured from a train passing through a platform, and we were talking, and I wanted to take pictures of trains coming through the platform and also maybe measure the speed, and the train came on so quickly that I didn't have a chance to turn around to do any of those things. The various participants, we have the railroad, and that's the train, the track, and the warning system, and the operator. On the highway side, we have the driver, the vehicle, maybe the pedestrian, the roadway, and those information systems that are out there. The railroads have responsibilities, and we have responsibilities too. The railroads are responsible for the signage at the crossing, the flashing light signals, the gate mechanisms. The government is responsible for all the advanced warning signals, the markings on the roadways, and any supplemental signs that they may install, such as the cross sign with the R&R. We, as drivers and pedestrians, we have responsibilities too, and our responsibilities are to obey traffic laws, the rules and warning devices, and we, in order to be able to be good drivers and pedestrians, we need information so that we can make the proper decisions. Some of the decisions that we need to make is the time to the arrival of the train. If we see a train out there, how long is it going to take to reach the crossing? We need to know how much time we have to decide to cross or not to cross, and we need to know how long it takes to complete the crossing in total. There are a ton of misconceptions out there, and they're important to take into consideration. Trains cannot stop quickly. They don't run on predictable schedules. Some of the passenger trains generally do within a certain degree of schedule. And we're always under the impression we can see and hear that train coming. And as I pointed out, I had in the last couple of weeks 2 experiences where, fortunately, I was off the right-of-way. I did not hear the trains approaching. We assume that that when there's no gate and there's a passive crossing device like a crosswalk or a sign, that there's negligible train traffic. That's a misconception. I've seen crossings where there could be 20 trains in an hour, and all they had was a passive sign. And trains, of course, provide that kind of illusion. Let's look at that a little bit. To detect speed or time to prevent a collision, it's been found not only in railroading but in aviation that we tend, from our visual point of perspective, we tend to underestimate the speed of large objects. Many studies have been done, and one of the significant pieces of work in this area had no study was done. This was hypothesized by Berkowitz, and it's called the Berkowitz hypothesis, and it's based on information. He hypothesized the concept that a large object we cannot judge its speed, and he's been certainly verified that we tend to misjudge train speed, just as when you go in an airport area and you look up and you see an airplane and it's standing still, even though it's maybe going 300-400 miles an hour. And this misjudgment is a result of our human vision system and our inability to properly judge large objects. Recently, in 2003 and 2006, 2 research groups confirmed the Berkowitz concepts, and we now know that this is a fact, that we just cannot judge in any meaningful way the speed of a train that is approaching us. Everybody thinks that, you stand out there in the right-of-way, the train sees you and it's going to stop. Take a typical freight train. The train could be a mile long, could weigh 10 million pounds, and could be moving at 55 miles an hour. And for that train to stop, it takes 18 football fields. And of course, when the freight train is coming, there's no question who has the right-of-way to grade crossing.